And here we are, live at 5. Alrighty. We will get started. I've got a great little project to share with you today. It's a nice sort of simple card that it's a bit of a versatile one. You can make it, you can use a sentiment that is good for, a sympathy card, or just the natural, shades of color used in this particular product suite, the Nature's Walk suite, is, lends itself to mail cards as well. So yes, and today we're using some of those products from that suite, the Nature's Walk suite. The bundle is called Nature's Symphony, and this is the stamp set, and it's got that beautiful hero, big leaf. It's just lovely. And it's got a couple of great little sentiments to go with it too. The dies feature frames that match some of the stamps. So you've got ones here that match these ones, which is awesome. And then you've got a couple of textural stamps and this, gorgeous leaf stamp, which, it's just a killer, isn't it? So nice. Alrighty, so the Nature's Walk designer series paper is just as stunning. It features lots and lots of, this is the one we're using today. It's just gorgeous. And yeah, features a lot of beautiful sort of patterns and, textural type patterns rather than, I've used heaps. That's just a few of the pages. I'll put a link up so that you can see the rest if you like. So, let's get started. As I said, we're making a card today, and this one is, I'm using a card base made from crumb cake cardstock. So I've cut my A4 piece of card down in half and then scored it in half. Like I always say, in half and in half, it's just so economical and so easy to make. So don't forget to crisp your score lines up with a bone folder so that they stay nice and flat while we're working. Now I've cut a little piece of designer series paper down to a little strip, and it's the same height as the card, and if I remember correctly, I think it's about 4 centimeters. So yeah, it's a little bit shorter than that, but 4 will work just nicely. So what we're going to do is align this to the left side of our card, but before we do that, I'm actually going to add some texture. Oh, that was smart, wasn't it? Look at this. Now my stickers from the back of my case have come off. Alrighty, I don't need that. I can deal with that later, and you can come away too. All right, I was opening this one, wasn't I, before I got distracted. Okay, so before we go and adhere our designer paper on, I want to add a little bit of tonal texture so that it, just to add some, just some shading, blending, and just, making it look pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is start underneath where our designer series paper is going to stick onto our card base. So normally what we would do is start off the page, start our circles, and then work onto our finished surface so that we don't get those blobs of brush marks and things like that. But this time what I want, we can do that, but because all of this side will be covered, but it's just as easy to give yourself a visual line and work from here outward. Alrighty, this is going to make much more sense in about a few minutes. So what we're going to do is just I'm holding the head of it, the head of my brush, just to give it a little bit more sturdiness. So we're just going to add some color to our cardstock. Now whenever you're blending, it always starts off light, and you build that color up. So I think I said this once before in one of my lives. Some days I've got patience for blending and other days I don't. So today's one of those days where I've got some patience because I'm just unwinding for the long weekend. We have a long weekend here in Melbourne this weekend, and it's going to be lovely weather, and the Moomba Festival's going to be on by the Yarra, so I'm pretty sure we're going to end up down there at some point and just enjoy ourselves. So what are you guys doing for the weekend? Is anyone heading to Moomba, or maybe you're heading away? Just drop me a line in the comments and let me know what you're up to. Alrighty, so we have this sort of smudge of ink happening in a really weird position on our card base, but that kind of works because once we have our designer series paper in place, you can see that it just sort of creeps out from underneath it, and it gives it a nice sort of vintage aged kind of look. So yeah, so it's really cool. So if you want, you can also add a little bit to the corners. I'm just doing this lightly so I don't get a blob of those brush marks. Just going to add a touch there. Alrighty, so before I go ahead and adhere this piece, I'm actually going to stamp some of these gorgeous leaves onto my card base. So let's see, just ink that up there. Now this is pecan pie that I'm using here. So yeah, lovely shade of brown. Alrighty, so I'm going to push this one out to the middle of my sort of put it in the center of my card towards the right side. I'm going to angle it so that it kind of lines up that way. Alrighty, so let's see, we're gonna go about there, and just giving it a little bit of time for the ink to transfer over to the cardstock. Don't rush this. Don't ever feel that you need to rush any stamping that you do, because we want a nice solid image, and this is a great way of achieving that. Yay, look at that. It kind of looks like it's floating because, it's sitting in the middle there. But once we start adding our other elements, it'll start coming together in a second. So yeah, so we're going to pop our designer series paper over the top. Now this, even though there's writing on here that we really can't read that well, we want to make sure that it's upright so that it looks right. Yeah, even though we can't read it. All right, I'm just going to add A little bit of a liquid glue there is my favorite because it allows us to just that extra bit of wiggle room. Now, I have left a little gap up against the edge of just down that side of on the side of the fold. So I haven't quite pushed my designer paper up to the edge, but you can. It, yeah, it does look good like that too. So there you go. Awesome. Alrighty, so now what we're going to do is, now we need one of these gorgeous die cut leaves. Now I've gone ahead and pre-cut that already because I didn't want to bore you with bringing in my die cutting machine and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so I've die cut the leaves out of garden green cardstock, and yeah, as you can see, it's just beautiful. It's got so much texture in those leaves. It's just stunning. So to make now, you know, the leaves are very flat in color, obviously, but naturally occurring leaves are not so. So what we're going to do is add some mossy meadow to them and just dab them here and there so that it kind of gives it a little bit of a mottled look. Now, you can just do this any which way. If you ever want to try this technique out, just, you know, randomly smash your sponge dauber over your leaves. And what that does is just add a little bit of tonal texture to your die cut, and it just makes them look a little bit more realistic, because the leaves very rarely flatten one color. There's always a little bit of a blend in there. Alrighty, let's have a look. Ooh, very, very nice. Yeah. Beautiful. Alrighty, let's close this ink over. It's getting warm in this room, so I don't want them to dry out too quickly. All right, let's put that aside. Now, I'm just going to set these aside and do my sentiment. So I've gone ahead and die cut a circle. Now, this particular one is from the Spotlight on Nature circle die set. And yeah, so I've pre-cut that out of crumb cake cardstock as well. And we're going to use one of the sentiments out of the Nature's Symphony stamp set as well. And this one is the You Make Me Smile. I love it. Yay, I like that. Okay. So what I might do as well, just going to add some, I'm going to add some extra leafy images as well. So get this baby out and now I'll pop it on a block. Okay, so what we're going to do is punch him out. What that's going to do is give us like a framework, sort of a border, if you like. I'm going to use the 1 3/4 punch. Now my cardstock is really small. Sometimes my scrap. Sometimes it's kind of, you know, you can make it work. like that, but most of the time when that happens, what I like to do is just use a little bit, actually that side, a post-it note, so that gives me a nice little handle, and that then allows me to center my sentiment. Whoop. And off we go. Punched shape. So what this enables us to do by is it gives us the border, like the boundaries of our shape. So now we know where to position our leaves. So I'm just going to bring in scratch paper again, some grid paper. And this color is soft seafoam, so something, another green, but nice and light, just to add a little bit of texture. I'm just going to hug this little one up here. And I'm going to pop another one down the bottom. Just along the edge. Just to add a little bit of detail. Awesome. Okay. We'll put those aside. Now we're going to adhere these two together. Let's see. A little bit of Tombow. Squiggle, squiggle. And layer that one in there. And then I will find me some dimensionals, which we're going to use as well. All right. Now, this baby here, we're going to actually, I've made lots of projects where I've used this as a whole piece, and it's stunning, particularly when you layer it with different colored greens. But today, I'm just going to snip it and create two pieces. And what that enables us to do is just create a bit of a frame with it. So I'm going to just use little bits of Tombow and squish that on. Okay. And we're going to pop this just here. Okay. There we go. All right, it's on. A little bit more. And this one I'm going to angle down this way into this corner. So it kind of frames this little peacock, sorry, not peacock, pecan pie stamped leaves in the background there. So really nice. Okay, and now we're just going to pop our sentiment on. I can't see any comments today, so I'm not sure. I will come back to those afterwards. There we go. You need to come off. There we go. Awesome. Alrighty, so we're going to layer this one in here like that. And finish off with some of the gorgeous pentagon gems that are in that set as well. I just love, love, love these. I'm going to pop one here. Nice big one to help create that focal point. And then I'm going to have two just hanging out amongst the leaves. There we go. Awesome. Alrighty, and that's our card for today. So I hope that you have enjoyed this little bit of downtime and just creating something really pretty and useful and something that we know will bring joy to those who receive cards like these. They're all made with love, aren't they? Anyway, thanks so much for joining me.